Hey, Shalom, Akim Shalom. Before we begin this lesson, we want to start off by giving all glory, honor, and praises unto Yahweh,
Yahweh Ba'ashem, Yahweh
Yahweh,
Shai, Ba'ashem, Rachatash.
and double honors to the elders and apostles of Great Millstone that taught us His truth. A sincere Shalom to the hopeful electors out there listening, learning, and or teaching the truth and sincerity. Shalom. So today we want to go into the topic of slavery for the heathens. And, what type of slavery is it going to be? What's going to be allowed? How's it going to work? And we're just kind of go into that topic of that slavery and just bring some clarity to those things. So to get started, um, I want to grab the priest. I want to grab the scripture here of Isaiah chapter 14 and just starting at verse 1, just showing you that hey, this is what the future holds. Okay.
I'll pull it up for you, brother.
The water.
This is Isaiah 14, Isaiah 14 and verse 1. For the Lord Yahweh will have mercy on Jacob and will yet choose Israel and set them in their own land, and the strangers shall be joined with them, and they shall cleave to the house of Jacob.
God. Yeah, so the Lord is going to bring us back to our own land. So the Lord has not forsaken his people. Can you go
Yeah.
ahead?
Just for for clarity's sake, those strangers that is speaking about in this verse is speaking of, these are talking about Israelites, all right, in this very first verse, right? Because these Israelites are, these strangers rather, are Israelites that, um, that weren't part of the chosen fold, but Israelites are Israelites because all Israelites in the kingdom of heaven will have their part in glory. It's just levels to it,
Mm-hmm.
you know, you know. But just want to clear that up.
Come.
Um, Verse 2, it says, and the people shall take them and bring them to their place, and the house of Israel shall possess them in the land of the Lord Yahweh for servants and handmaids, and they shall take them captives, whose captives they were, and they shall rule over their oppressors.
Come. Hey, the same way the Esau Edom, the so-called white man, had our people in captivity here in America. You think about the transatlantic slave trade. You think about the Spanish conquest, the theft of the land from the Native Americans, all these atrocities that were done, in the name of Esau building up his kingdom. Okay, well, we're gonna have to build up a kingdom as well. And that's what the heathen are for. They're gonna be our slaves the same way that we are their slaves now.
Yeah, I appreciate it for you, brother. Um, just to back that point up you just made, this is the book of Isaiah, chapter 60, and chapter 60 of Isaiah, it goes wholeheartedly into that, as far as how these heathen nations will be in captivity under Israel. But I'll jump straight to the point. For you, it says Isaiah 60 and verse 10. It says, "And the sons of strangers shall build up thy walls, and their kings shall minister unto thee. For in my wrath I smote thee, but in my favor have I had mercy on thee."
Con. Yeah, the Lord, this thing we're going through now is just a punishment. We're the greatest people on the planet Earth, the Israelites, the apple of the Lord's eyes. This slavery position we're in is not like it's not meant to be forever. It was just a punishment. But see, the heathen, they were created for us to be our slaves. That's literally their purpose is to serve us. Okay, the only reason it's backwards now is because again, we broke the Lord's covenant, and so the Lord had to chastise us. Like, hey, how does it feel to have this person over you? It's like, damn, that shit sucks. You
And I
see how
appreciate
they, Con, go ahead, brother.
Salakia. Um, this is Ecclesiastes chapter 10, verse 7, which says, I'll start at verse 6. It says, Folly is set in great dignity, and the rich sit in low place. I have seen servants upon horses, and princes walking as servants upon the earth.
God. Yeah, that's what you see now, man. I mean, just looking at these different plantation jobs, for example, you got Edomites in the high positions as CEOs, and we're down there doing all the grunt work, and even during the time of slavery, literally you had Edomites on horses and us walking on foot, so the order is backwards now just because it's a temporary punishment. Okay, but brother, you called made a good point earlier. We're going into it, that's how all these different kingdoms were built, was through slavery, right? Someone had to be in captivity. And for a lot of this time, it was Jake. But it's going to come a time when these heathens are going to have to build up our kingdoms, man. All right, or our kingdom rather, and it's a righteous thing, man. The Lord is gonna it's two purposes. We got to build our kingdom up, and also they got to suffer for what they did to us, you know?
Mhm.
Quick precept, brother. This is Revelation 13, verse 9. It says, If any man have an ear, let him hear. He that leadeth into captivity shall go into captivity. He that killeth with the sword must be killed with the sword. Here is the patience and the faith of the saints.
Yeah. Yeah, there you go, man. Just like Esau did to us, it's going to be done to them, you
Yeah.
know? Plain and simple.
Yeah, and the precept to go right behind that in Psalm chapter 149, verse 5 says, Let the saints be joyful in glory. Let them sing aloud upon their beds. Let the high praises of the Most High be in their mouth and the two-edged sword in their hand. And the scriptures explicitly say that the saints are the Israelites. Just to put, just to set that straight. But it says, to execute vengeance upon the heathen and punishments upon the people, to bind their kings with chains and their nobles with fetters of iron, to execute upon them the judgment written, this honor have all his saints. Praise ye the Lord. So it's saying that this is a privilege that the Lord is about to give his people, to chain up. It says the nobles of the heathen. So all these heathen that you see ruling today, who are in power positions today, are going to be brought down to positions of servitude underneath us. It's going to be a reversal of power that we are about to see. You know, um, but yeah, that's all. That's all.
John, that's a beautiful point you brought out. I know the elders, the apostles had brought that out, reversal of I believe it's reversal of fortune. Let's get that real quick.
Uh, that's all fortune. Okay, so we get into the etum, not the etum, I said the etum. The AI overview, Reversal of Fortune brings up a movie. Um,
Yeah, I got it right here if you want me to.
Kanye, if you got it, you go ahead, brother.
Yeah, the reversal of fortune meaning it says a reversal of fortune refers to a sudden dramatic change in someone's circumstances. It usually describes a shift from a state of wealth, power, or good luck to one of ruin and misfortune, though it can also apply to a positive turnaround after a period of struggle.
John, yeah. So a positive. So we're gonna go from the very bottom to the very top, man.
Hmm.
And like I said there, man, Esau is gonna go from those nobles being them elite international bankers with their mansions and castles and all that. Hey, they're gonna be in the fucking trenches, man, in the mud, in the fucking whatever we're gonna have them doing. They're gonna be doing the worst of the worst jobs, man. So it's truly gonna be that pendulum swing effect.
Yeah, and that's why it says in Revelation 2 and 9, it says, I know thy tribulation, thy works, and thy poverty, but thou art rich. Because even though we at the bottom right now, the Lord understands that truly we are rich. We're rich because we have this truth, and we're rich because we have almost like an inheritance that we just haven't had passed unto us yet. You know?
Con, I got a preset for you. This is Proverbs 8 and verse 11. For wisdom is better than rubies, and all the things that may be desired are not to be compared to it.
Hmm. Yeah. And the Lord gave us this wisdom. This truth isn't for any of these other nations. That's why you don't see any camp of Ishmaelites teaching on the highways. You don't see no camp of Edomites. You don't see no camp of Hamites. That's why you see Israelites teaching this word because the Holy Spirit has been given unto us. And it says what? That this wisdom is as groupies. It's above any material wealth. So that's showing the, richness that we have, you know.
That's right. Because wisdom, the wisdom that's given from Yahweh Shem Al Shai is essentially Israel's inheritance. And Baruch, the fourth chapter, makes that clear because it says that the things that are pleasing unto the Most High are made known unto us.
Mm.
So just want to add that, because that's wasn't like you said, it wasn't given to these heathen nations, But yep, that's it.
Con. And just going into also this topic of slavery for the heathen, how will we be treating them? What type of slavery will it be? So, just get more specific on, okay, we know it's going to be bad because that's how they treated us. Okay. I just want to grab this precept in Leviticus 25, 40, verse 44, where it goes into, if y'all brothers got it. If not, I could
Yeah, I got it. I got it right here.
kind of
So
throw.
start at Leviticus 25:44. That's
Yeah,
what you want.
yeah, just that one would be fine. We'll just get straight to it.
Okay. It's Leviticus 25, verse 44. It says, both thy bondmen and thy bondmaids, which thou shalt have, shall be of the heathen that are round about you. Of them shall ye buy bondmen and bondmaids.
Yeah, because if you read this chapter, it goes into distinction between a Hebrew servant and a bond servant. Okay, and basically the Hebrew servant is just like, somebody fell into debt. Okay, they trying to get out of debt, so they sell themselves to you for, 6 years. Seventh year they go free. It was just a safety net we had, but we're not supposed to treat other Hebrews like we treat the heathen. Okay, and so that's why it made that distinction. And so if we go into the word bondman in that
I got you.
kind
That
of the
same
what
verse. Yeah, I got you out. Um, I said do that. All right, getting into that word bondman, it goes into the Hebrew word ibad, which says slave, servant, manservant, subjects, servants, worshippers of the Most High, servants in special sense as prophets, Levites, etc. Servant of Israel, servant as form of address between equals, a servant who amongst the Hebrews was commonly a slave, what it says in the lexicon.
God. Yeah, so a slave, a bondman. There was another definition somewhere that said a servant of servants, but basically a bondman is like if you go into Deuteronomy 28 and 64, and that would prove it right there. Deuteronomy 28:64, it says you will go back into Egypt in ships and you'll be sold. If you got it, I'll let you read it.
I can pull it up. I didn't have it, but I got you.
Kind of the weather.
Deuteronomy 28 and
And 68.
68. It says, and the Lord Yahweh shall bring thee into Egypt again with ships
Mhm.
by the way whereof I spake unto thee. Thou shalt see it no more again, and there ye shall be sold unto your enemies for bondmen and bondwomen, and no man shall buy you.
So that's that same word. So we know that that was fulfilled here in America through the transatlantic slave trade. Okay, showing you that difference between a bondman and a hired servant, which is what, a Hebrew slave would be, is just a hired servant. Like we work for pay. It's like an indentured servant. We had that here too in America. There was indentured servants. And that's a whole different situation than a bond servant or a slave, which basically is your property. You could treat it like shit, you know, you can abuse them. That's what happened to us. Okay,
Yeah.
so that's what the heathen will be. They will be our property in the kingdom.
Hmm.
Right. Yep. Yeah, beautiful point because the scriptures speak about like on Esau's way, how he done it. We're not going to do it the same way. I mean, we we're going to do it like you said in righteousness, like you mentioned. But it says that the Most High was. Let me just I just get this precept real quick and Yatazak pass it to you. Um, this is so okay, this is the book of Zechariah, chapter 1, verse 15. It says, "I am very sore displeased with the heathen that are at ease, but for I was but a little displeased, and they helped for the affliction." So just back in that point that you were saying, how like with us, like we're gonna do it in righteousness, but Esau, like what Esau Edom did, he just took it overboard. You know what I'm saying? And that was in the form of captivity. You know how he dealt with the slaves.
Mhm.
You know how they would be cutting open the wombs of pregnant women and you know snatching the baby out, stomping on the head of the fetus, putting a fucking live cat in the womb and sewing it back up. It's like Esau Edom took it overboard, man.
Yeah, that's fucked up. Yeah,
Esau he would do these type of things, but we're not gonna have to do all these, but definitely believe that there is an affliction double according to Esau's affliction that he put upon us that's coming. But that's you got it, brother.
beautiful point. Yeah, and also, just thinking about some of the other crazy, like sewing a cat inside of a woman or the buck breaking. We're not gonna be doing any of that. Because Esau, that would be unclean, that's sinful, that's against our laws, our customs. But he's gonna get his punishment the lawful way. It's just gonna hurt like hell. It's gonna be painful, you know. Um, and again, like the brothers are saying, it's a just thing for what they did against us. And one thing that comes to mind when you mention, the children getting snatched out of the womb, they fed our children to alligators, they smashed the children's heads against rocks. Hey, what does the scripture say about that in the Psalms? You know, it says,
Mm.
I
Con.
could look it up unless y'all brothers got it. I'm gonna try to
Yeah, I
pull
got you.
it.
Con. This is Psalm chapter. Oh, Salakia, Salakia. I thought I had it. If you find it before me, you can go ahead. Salakia. I thought I found it.
Okay, let's see.
Uh, um,
Oh,
yeah,
okay, I got it here.
okay,
Salakia. It's a
okay,
Psalm
you got
chapter
it.
137 and verse 7. It says, "Remember, O Lord, the children of Edom in the day of Jerusalem, who said, race it, even to the foundation thereof. O daughter of Babylon, who art to be destroyed, happy shall he be that rewarded thee as thou hast served us. Happy shall he be that taketh and dasheth thy little ones against the stone."
Hey, an eye for an eye, a tooth for a tooth.
Mm,
They killed our children. It's gonna happen to their children. You know,
Yeah,
so it's gonna be very rough slavery for 1,000 years. And like the brothers brought up, it's gonna be double punishment.
yeah,
right.
yeah, because
Yeah,
I had looked something up because there was something we was talking about before the lesson started where, you know, like people hear slavery and they just think of this terrible thing, and that's because the first thing that comes to mind when you think of slavery is the slavery that Esau put upon Jake. But when you look it up, I asked, I typed in, "Are servants a part of any society?" And it says yes. Servants have been a fundamental part of almost every stratified society throughout human history. Historically, they formed a crucial social economic class that maintained the households of the upper class, though their exact legal and social status has varied drastically, ranging from bonded serfs and indentured laborers. So kind of like what we read in that Leviticus, the bonded serfs, and it says to voluntary paid employees, like what we are in America today. So you're always going to have servants in a society. That's just how it works. You're going to have the kings, then you're going to have the
see,
people who are underneath the kings. But Esau has, his form of slavery was just so evil that people hear that we're going to have slaves and they immediately lose their mind. But the way that we're going to do it is going to be just, it's going to be righteous, it's going to be on point, you know?
God. Yeah, yeah. Because even Like once we're all settled and everything, and they suffer their 1,000 years, these other heathen nations are gonna be able to enjoy our rulership. They're gonna look around and be like, man, these guys are so much better than Esau.
Yeah,
Wow.
Hey, let me back you up on that. That's beautiful. You go ahead, brother. I was just
Culture up, yeah. Like they're gonna breathe the air. They're gonna be like, wow, fresh air, no data center in my backyard. Wow, I don't have to pay all these, getting robbed every day. Because the way Esau taxes us, it's like it's robbery, man.
yeah,
All your pay goes to rent, and then you barely got enough to eat or do anything or save money, and then you crash your car. Now you're looking at, oh shit, I could be homeless. And you get homeless, they're passing laws that it's illegal, so they're gonna round you up. It's like this man is a monster, man. So when we're in rulership, life will be able to flourish. It's gonna be so beautiful and perfect, you know. But of course, first they gotta suffer a terrible punishment. That's just justice, like the scripture said. And I had it pulled up here. Second Thessalonians 1 and 6, seeing it is a righteous thing with the Most High to recompense tribulation to them that trouble you. So after they suffer, they're gonna be like, damn, we should have let y'all rule from the beginning.
yeah.
all right. Yeah. This just back you up, brother. It's Isaiah chapter 2 and verse 2 says, and it shall come to pass in the last days that the mountain of the Lord Yahweh's house shall be established in the top of the mountains, and shall be exalted above the hills, and all the nations shall flow unto it. And many people shall go and say, now this the point. And many people shall go and say, come ye, and let us go up to the mountain of the Lord Yahweh, to the house of the power of Jacob, and he will teach us of his ways, and we will walk in his paths. For out of Zion shall go forth the law and the word of Yahweh from Jerusalem.
Con. Yeah, that's a beautiful thing. Everybody's gonna want to come learn from us. Ain't nobody want to learn from these small hats over there, man. People are running away from them. People are disgusted by these people. That's the Epstein class. Everybody has disgust to these high level Edomites, and now the whole world is against them.
Yeah,
Okay, but when we're in power, they're gonna recognize, okay, these guys actually deserve to be in power. These guys aren't just ruling by the sword. They're just a wise and understanding people. Which there's a scripture that says that about us as well. We're a wise and understanding people, you know. So, like the brother Yatazak said, there's going to be kings, there's going to be servants, there's hierarchy, there's levels to it. Somebody's going to get the bad end of the stick, but it's all
hmm,
based off of, a rank that the Lord set up. It only makes sense to have the wisest people have the better end of the stick so everyone follows their rulership and it all trickles down. It all is all beneficial. But the system we got now, it's a fucking base man ruling the earth. It's an adult child. It's a monster, a guy that, a madman. And these are the people that are making the laws. These are the people that are calling the shots, and look at where it's gotten us, man.
yeah. Yeah, so it's going to be a totally different dichotomy in the kingdom because you got to understand two things. One, we going to be in our in the new covenant, so we're going to be in our new bodies, and we're going to be gods, like the scriptures say, lowercase gods, of course, like demigods underneath Yahweh and Yahweh Shai, but we're going to be on a higher than human level than all these people on the earth. So there is going to be not like how Esau wants to be on this side, and that's why he's looking down at everybody because he thinks he's on this other level. We're going to have reason to walk with that confidence, with that in that mindset. So people is going to be just right that people are serving us on the level that we're going to be in. The second thing is that you have to understand that this is going to be after World War III that we're going to take the world and it's going to be ours. So a lot of things are going to be desolate. There's going to be a lot of destruction. There's going to be a lot of rebuilding that has to be done. And do you think we're going to be bending over and picking up rocks and rebuilding things? That's not going to be our job. That's going to be for the heathen that we are going to have um um taken under our servitude. They're going to need things to do. They're going to need projects. They're going to need work. So why wouldn't we employ them to do those things? And the scriptures talk about that, just like the precept you brought out earlier, you call where it says, "Servants shall build up thy walls." They're going to be dealing with all that back breaking, manual labor.
Yep, and to complement that point, because we were, and you kind of brought some information out, so we don't have to go too far into it, but um, like saying it's kind of like pretty much the slavery a common thing, and like you went into it, because it's like Esau, Edom, you have Jake, not only Jake, but you have society and slavery and captivity going into these corporations, building up your enterprise. You don't have to do shit. You can walk through the, hey, how they do, they come in with the fancy suits on. They walk through, see how everything is going. They seeing who's in there, and then you don't see them again for, if ever, you don't see them again for months, maybe even years. They just want to make sure that their corporation is being ran how they like it.
Hmm.
They don't have to touch shit. That's how it's gonna be in the kingdom. We don't have to touch shit, man. Well, we're gonna be governing. We're gonna be putting the nations in order. We're not. Hey, it says that we should break them with a rod of iron. That's what Esau Edom does.
Mhm.
Hmm.
You know, we ain't about to come in there. Hey, like the brother is familiar. Like we don't come in Highland and touch the palletizer for what? you know. Yeah. Okay. Well, we just put some money into that so y'all can work more for me. All right, we're gonna get it set up. Have a nice day, guys.
Yeah.
Mhm.
That's it. Like he ain't gotta touch shit, you know? So
Yeah.
that's yeah. It's gonna be a role reversal. But
That
you got it, brother.
kind of like you mentioned that the breaking them with a rod of iron, that's a strict, rigorous rule, man. You know,
Hmm.
apart from them being our slaves, they're also gonna have to follow the law, statutes, and commandments of Yahweh Bashim Shai. So we're gonna be putting belt to ass. It's gonna be a lot of discipline, and it's just about getting the world back in order, man.
Yeah,
Everything has to go back to its natural estate, the way the Lord designed it to be ran. Because again, like we mentioned earlier, and we keep mentioning it, Esau is running this world into the ground, destroying the Lord's creation, the minds of the people, his philosophies that he spread throughout the earth has got people living in very unnatural ways. They're pushing men and men sleeping together, women and women sleeping together, the feminism, women over the man, you know, this if this continues, man, everybody would die out. Like the scripture says, um, if the Lord don't shorten the days, no flesh would be saved, roughly paraphrasing. Because the way this man is bringing everything to that NWO where he's gonna put a chip in everybody right hand or their brain. Okay, that has to be stopped. Okay, and slavery for the heathen is a good thing. Ultimately, it's good for them. Especially these Edomites. They're the ones that need to be locked away. Who do they got locked away now? They got Jake locked away in these prison houses. You know, Jakes they could be perfectly capable of running shit, but no, they rather us, be back there, and it's just this man is just wasting his rulership away. The
I
Lord
got
gave
a
him a chance.
so like I got a couple precepts for you, brother. That came to mind.
Con-
Uh, the first one is Proverbs 29 verse 2. When the righteous are in authority, the people rejoice. But when the wicked beareth rule, the people mourn.
Yeah, the whole world's in a state of mourning. They even got this thing in Canada where they allow you to commit suicide. You just go to your doctor, you say you're depressed, they put you in a pod.
Yeah,
And it's
yeah,
gotten to the point where now they
Wow.
have commercials where they're trying to convince you to commit suicide. They're like, "Are you depressed? You should really consider assisted suicide. It's a great thing, blah, blah, blah." I mean, I haven't seen the commercials, but I saw an article that said they're now trying to convince people to kill themselves.
yeah. Right. I seen that.
Shit don't make sense, man. Like, what kind of a rulership is this?
Yeah. That's right. Yeah, they brings to the next precept, Romans chapter 8 and verse 22. It says, "For we know that the whole creation groaneth and travaileth in pain together unto now."
God. Hey, just like me and you, we're talking about your call. We talking about them beetles, the dung beetles. They they
Hmm.
they look up and they can see the Milky Way. And so they go in the direction of the Milky Way. That's where they roll their dung balls. But because there's so much bright lights and pollution, they can't see it anymore. So what do a lot of these dung beetles do? They're going in circles. It's like when you got a computer program and it's got a virus and it's fucked up. That's what Esau got all these animals on.
They're buffering.
Suffering. They don't know what's going on. And Esau's
Right,
just like,
right,
oh, well, as long
right.
as I make money, it's all good. As long as I keep my capitalism going, it's all good. But he
Yeah.
doesn't see it far off. He doesn't see what he's fucking up.
Well, because the scriptures say in Wisdom of Solomon, I believe the second chapter, it says that he's blinded by his wickedness. So just to back you up on that, Esau Edom, he know, and the thing is, Esau Edom knows what he's doing is bullshit, man. Just because he's similar to the Pharaoh in Egypt. After he was told multiple times by Moses that this is the Lord's people, you need to let these people go and shoot signs through the Lord. He was ready. There's a point where he was ready to be like, all right, man, y'all just go, man. But the Most High hardened his heart to where he didn't let Jake. So he knew he was on bullshit. So the same with Esau Edom today. He knew he's on bullshit, but his heart, the Most High hardened his heart. So he's continuing in his enterprises to the point where that wickedness and his pleasures, his every heart's desire is so vehement to where nigga, I can't stop now. Look how far I came. I can't stop. Yeah, I can, but I'm not gonna stop.
Mhm.
So that's the same mindset, man. But yeah, that's pretty much it, man. Just because what we call like with President Donald Trump, we call him well he has he's technically the Pharaoh of Babylon or Pharaoh of Egypt, this modern day Egypt being America, but we call him Nero 47. He's gonna continue in his wickedness and his madness until he be taken out of the way.
Mhm.
That's because that's the spirit that the Lord put on these different rulers from generation to generation up until this day. But yeah, you got it. That's all I want. That's all I want to mention.
Beautiful point. Yeah.
I got a precept.
Go ahead, brother.
All right, so it says here in Isaiah 14 and 5, the Lord Yahweh hath broken the staff of the wicked and the scepter of the rulers. He who smote the people in wrath with continual snow, stroke.
Mhm.
He that ruled the nations in anger and persecuted, and none hindereth. The whole earth is at rest and is quiet. They break forth into singing. Yea, the fir trees rejoice at thee, and the cedars of Lebanon, saying, since thou art laid down, no feller is come against us. So, like, not only will the people be rejoicing at that time because, we'll be out of bondage, but so will the trees too, you
Mhm.
know?
Yeah.
So, it's like, go ahead.
God, no, that's beautiful, brother. Yeah, it's like all these trees being cut down for what? And they building these factories, these data centers, apartment buildings, man. That's one great example. I hate that shit. It's like they build these giant ass apartment complexes and nobody's in them because the rent is so goddamn high. So they're just all sitting there just so they can
Mm,
own the market, just so they can
mm.
corner people. And that's what you're destroying the Lord's creation for?
I got a precept for you, bro.
God.
No, Isaiah 5 and 8, which says, woe unto them that join house to house, that lay field to field, till there be no place, that they may be placed alone in the midst of the earth.
Mm.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, all these apartment buildings and then you can't get shit. So you're gonna end up homeless. They're like, damn it. We can't force them to work through that. So let's get them and send them to this homeless camp and make them do forced labor.
Mm.
It's like, yeah, this guy got to go. That's it, man. I mean,
Yeah, and that's
That's
that's going into why people are going to be happy when we're ruling, because we're going to rule in righteous order. It's like Esau says the earth is overpopulated. No, the Lord created the earth to be inhabited. There's so much land that people could be ruling on, and then Esau says, "Oh, actually, you can't build anything there. Like, why not? If you're saying that
Yeah.
everything's overpopulated, let me take this open spot of land and start something here." But Esau wants to own every single thing, so much so that he'll create something like an apartment building when that doesn't need to exist.
Yeah.
Then it'd be a terrible living condition. The plumbing would be all messed up.
Yeah.
you know, Force you to pay rent when you could be living off the land totally fine. And
Right.
but Esau stop you from doing that. But that's why the brother Ratazamani brought out that precept, and it says not only are the people going to rejoice when Esau is brought down, but the earth itself is going to rejoice because the ecosystem is going to be able to go back to its normal state. Um, like Esau is like messing up the circle of life in a way,
Right.
you know.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Point.
So it's
And if
The
you
like
think
land,
about
like
yeah,
when
the
you
earth.
fine, go you go ahead, brother.
like I want to look something up, bro. It's like you was about to say something, you call?
No, no, I was just gonna just back comment say the earth would be at rest. You know.
Yeah, like I want to look something up. I want to look up the effects of deforestation because when I think of deforestation, the only thing like I usually think of is just it messes up oxygen levels because the trees emit, the oxygen for us to breathe. But there's a lot of ramifications to deforestation. It says deforestation causes severe, irreversible damage to the planet, primarily by accelerating climate change, destroying wildlife habitats, and degrading soil. So you're messing up because when you cutting down all them trees, you have animals that live in those trees. So where are they supposed to go? And then you're messing up the climate. But Esau be the first to cry about climate change. You
Mm-hmm.
know, and it says it causes soil erosion. Um, it disrupts water cycles. So it does a lot. And Esau is just constantly doing this deforestation to build up all these different things he wants to build. So it's just messing up the earth. And not only is he doing it through deforestation, but he's doing it by throwing trash in the ocean. He's doing
Or
it by just he's just messing up all type of habitats and natural ways of life and resources.
And one thing I've noticed about those animals, like they have to go and basically find a new and like they have to adapt to a whole new environment.
hmm that they're not supposed to be living in. Like the Lord created a specific environment for them, and they have to find a whole new way of life because of Esau.
Yeah, yeah, and that's a beautiful point because like you mentioned, like the pollution in the ocean. Oh, there was a point in time within I believe it was like maybe 4 or 5 years ago, which I haven't seen anything as of recent. But there was at a point where there was like whales and sea life washing up on the seashores and beaches and things like that because there was so much pollution in the water. They couldn't fucking breathe. So just backing up both of you brothers' points. Two birds with one stone. It's like he essentially he's not fit to rule, bro. He's not fucking fit to rule. You know.
Yeah, they say
And
around.
yeah, you go ahead. You go ahead. I had a precept, but you go ahead and make your point, brother.
No, real fast. I was gonna say it says around 2,000 whales and dolphins beach themselves every year.
You see that?
wow.
Their natural habitat that was created for them to live in. Because even the scriptures tell you that, that these different the different creatures have different environments that they live in. The sea life for
Mhm.
they have their environment. The birds and the fowls of the air, they have their environment, so on and so forth. But you're destroying every facet of life for every creature on earth.
Mhm.
From the skies to the waters, you're fucking everything up. This ain't how creation was supposed to be,
Yeah.
But hey, that's why I said the Most High. It says Second Thessalonians, the second chapter. Only He who now letteth will let until He be taken out of the way. The Most High allowing you to do this, and guess what? Psalm 7:11. He's angry with the wicked every day because of these things.
Mhm.
So your time's coming. It's coming. You just the Most High allowing you to build up your receipt is long, brother.
Yeah.
Not even brother. Your receipt is long, Esau.
Yeah.
So you gotta pay that tab, brother. You know? But yep, that's it. I want to bring this precept out. Was there more to your point, brother? I didn't want to cut you off.
Nah,
This is Revelation 11, verse 18. And the nations were angry, and thy wrath is come, and the time of the dead that they should be judged, and that thou shouldest give reward unto thy servants, the prophets, and to the saints, and them that fear thy name, small and great, and shouldest destroy them which destroy the earth. You know, because as we went into these brothers gave different examples, these are the facts. This is what Esau Edom's doing in the earth right now. This is why the whole creation groaneth. This is why everybody's mourning. This is why everybody looking at you who the fuck is this? What is he doing? Everybody's looking at Esau Edom at this point now. At first, your pomp and your glory was magnified or looked at with a grain of salt by most people, but now people are looking at your works, how you're dealing with the creation. What the fuck is he doing? Why are we getting jabs? Why are we doing? People are questioning you now. They're seeing that your works are being revealed, as it also goes back to Second Thessalonians, the second chapter. Your works are being revealed. They see what type of individual you are. But yep, that's all. That's it with that.
Yeah, beautiful point, man. And it's like, yeah, it's like that's the only solution for this man is slavery. He has to go through that slave. That's the only position he's fit to do. Since he can't rule the earth, let him do all the grunt work. And then, like Obadiah chapter 1 says, after the 1,000 years, that one nation, the nation of Edom, is going to be done away with. But the rest of these heathens, they're going to be good. They're just going to be paying us taxes and they're going to get to enjoy the rulership, under us, of course. But yeah, that's pretty much it. Unless you brethren got any more points or precepts.
On my end.
Well, with that, we want to finish by giving all glory, honor, and praises unto Yahweh,
Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh
Yahweh,
Shai,
Bashem,
Ba'ashem, Rakakwadash.
Double honors to the elders and apostles of Great Millstone. A sincere shalom to the hopeful elect that's out there. Shalom wa, abad babal. Shalom.
Shalom.
Shalom.